Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bert, Ferguson, Realtor, coming to you guys today with another informational video. So before we get into the video, I'll leave my information below, 302-204-1347, and my email, bertf@rushhome.com. I'm a realtor with the Rush Home team of Compass, and let's get into the video. So today, I'm going to be talking to my investors, specifically my short-term rental investors. Now, that can be Airbnb or VRBO or any of the array of ways to get people into a short-term rental. Usually this is going to be beach attractions. They may be if someone wants to get an Airbnb or get a short-term rental in the city like Wilmington. They want to be close to Philadelphia for the weekend, or do a getaway, or they want to spend a week, maybe even in Dover if the music festival here that we have in Dover comes to town and they want to get a short-term lodging and they don't want to camp out. So right now, for all my short-term rental real estate people, there has been a new tax that has been implemented starting in January that was passed last year. I'm going to go over that bill. I'm going to go over the tax. I'm going to go over what that means for you, get very specific. So you out there, if you're looking to get into the VRBO or the Airbnb market, the short-term rental market as an investor, here's something that you should know. All right, so I've got the document right here and we're going to go right into it. So this is from the Delaware Division of Revenue, which is a technical information memorandum, and it is the short-term rental lodging tax, okay? Now this is pursuant to House Substitute 2 for House Bill 168 as amended by House Amendment number 1 that was signed into law on September 30th of 2024, where Delaware has imposed a short-term rental lodging tax rate of 4.5% of the rent upon every occupancy of a short-term rental within the state. Okay, so there's a 4.5% rental tax on anything that's a short-term rental. And we're gonna get into what that exactly means, okay? So, rent means the consideration received for occupancy valued in money, whether received in money or otherwise, and does not include municipal taxes, linen rental fees, cleaning fees, insurance fees, security deposits, add-ons, not considered rent or money received from a month-to-month holdover lease. And a short-term rental is a house, a duplex, a multiplex, apartment, condominium, houseboat, trailer, or other residential dwelling unit where a tourist or transient guest rents sleeping or living accommodations for no more than 31 consecutive nights, but it does exclude certain rentals. It does not include hotels, motels, a tourist home, rooms or groups of rooms, or other spaces used for assemblies, dormitories, or other residential facilities of educational or vocational institutions, healthcare facilities licensed by the state, campsites, cabins, or similar facilities on campgrounds, overnight camps for adults or children, a rental arranged directly by the owner on a casual and isolated basis where the rent is substantially below market rates and the property is used as a rental for no more than 10 nights in an aggregate calendar year. Okay, so this gets very specific on what rent means and what properties are included and excluded and what this percent rate tax is, okay? And who passed it? It was passed into law last year, okay? In the Delaware House of Representatives, okay? Now, there's a certain term in here that I don't want anyone to miss, especially you investors out there. It's called an accommodations intermediary. This is a very important term that you need to turn the volume up and pay attention to, okay? An accommodations intermediary means any person engaged in the business of facilitating or arranging short-term rental to an occupant on a website or through other means, including the renting of properties subject to timeshare plan and a real estate broker of record, not real estate licensees working under that broker, okay? So the owner of a short-term rental that exclusively uses a third-party accommodations intermediary shall not be deemed an accommodations intermediary. If no third-party accommodations intermediary is used for a short-term rental, the owner of that property is the accommodations intermediary. So right there, they're making a specification on who's actually going out and facilitating, right? And becoming an intermediary to getting that lodging booked. If you don't have one, then you as the owner are that, okay? So The responsibilities of an accommodations intermediary is going to be required to obtain an annual Delaware accommodations intermediary business license, which is $25. And you can find that at onestop.delaware.gov prior to conducting accommodations intermediary services. This license requirement does not apply to hotel, motel, or tourist home, subject to separate hotel and motel and tourist home Delaware business licenses. So the way that they're going to collect this 4.5% tax is through onestop.delaware.gov prior to conducting accommodations. If you have a third party that does your accommodations for you, they need to go here to apply and make sure that the term of whatever your short-term tenant is going to stay is put on their books so they can get the tax set up for you. Now, also the accommodations intermediary is one of their responsibilities is to ensure that the accommodations intermediary license number is affixed on all marketing materials for each unit. Again, accommodations intermediary, your license number has to be affixed on all marketing materials for each rental unit. Very important. Also, accommodations intermediary is responsible for collecting and remitting the short-term rental tax unless accommodations intermediary has a contractual agreement with a hotel, motel, tourist home, or other accommodations intermediary to collect and remit tax in accordance with subsection 2301 of the Delaware Tax Code. Next, accommodations intermediary is required to provide the state with all data necessary to enforce compliance with collection of the short-term rental lodging tax. Okay, so this is very serious. All my people out there getting into Airbnb, VRBO, all the people who kill it down in Dewey Beach in the summer, all the people who get some short-term Airbnbs up in Wilmington for people who want to stay outside of Philadelphia, or they just want a short-term place outside of a hotel and they're traveling. This is very important information, okay? Next, the short-term rental tax must be collected no later than the earlier of the final payment of all rent due or occupancy of the short-term rental. If a short-term rental stay is canceled in whole or in part, the canceled portion of the stay must not be subject to the short-term rental tax, and any amount of the tax collected for such canceled portion will be refunded. Taxpayers who have not previously registered with One Stop or the Delaware Tax Portal will be required to open a new account. So anybody currently running Airbnbs or VRBOs or any other short-term rental that's not a hotel, motel, etc., will need to go to onestop.delaware.gov. I'm gonna leave the link right here for you. If you watch this video and you do short-term rentals, it's your fault if you don't pay your taxes, because I'm gonna leave this link right here for you, onestop.delaware.gov. Go there, sign up, and get situated with the state so that you can continue to run your business smoothly, okay? Next, the amount of tax collected for each month shall be reported on forms to be prescribed by the Delaware Department of Finance and paid over the Department of Finance via the Division of Revenue's online taxpayer portal. So it'll be paid at tax.delaware.gov. You sign up at onestop.delaware.gov and you pay at tax.delaware.gov no later than the 15th day of the month following the collection of the term, right? Your term stay. Interest rate of 0.5% per month or fraction thereof shall be charged on payments made after the prescribed due date on a monthly basis, along with required tax returns. An accommodations intermediary must submit a schedule in the format and manner prescribed with the Division of Revenue. At a minimum, the schedule will require the address of each rental unit, the number of nights rented for each property, and the aggregate rent collected for each property. Interest and penalties will be applied, okay? So, interest and penalties related to the failure to file tax returns or to pay tax, which means accommodations intermediaries are subject to interest and penalties for failing to file any required tax return, filing incomplete tax returns, or failing to pay taxes when due, or failing to remit data required by the Division of Revenue. If you have any questions, please contact the Delaware Division of Revenue, and that's going to be with the Director, Kathy Revel. So this is right here directly from the state of Delaware. So all my investors in the state of Delaware who do a lot of short-term rentals know that this tax has been started this year in January of 2025. It was passed last year. The tax rate is 4.5%, and you want to go to onestop.delaware.gov to sign up and make sure your accommodations intermediaries are good to go. And to pay your taxes, you're going to go to tax.delaware.gov to pay your monthly tax. If you stay on top of this and you do the right thing, it shouldn't be a big issue, but I wanna know what your thoughts on this. Do you do short-term rentals in Delaware? Let me know and share this video out. If you're thinking about getting into short-term rentals or doing Airbnbs in Delaware, this is gonna be a very, very big expense into your business that you wanna make sure is accounted for. All right, guys, so that's all I got for today. This is for my investors. All right, guys, have a great one. See ya.